YouTube? Survival for the Poor here. I got 5 questions that every prepper has to ask themselves. I'm going to do a little interview on myself since Scummy's nowhere to be seen and I don't have anyone to interview me, so I'm just going to ask myself these questions. And then I urge you to either answer them in the comments or make a response video of your answers to these 5 questions. I'll also post these 5 questions on my Facebook page, so you guys can go there, check it out. Our Facebook link is at the beginning of the video, and if you go on a computer and go to our channel, you can click the button on the top right and that'll bring you to our Facebook page. So you can answer these 5 questions on our Facebook page as well. So let's get started. Number 1, what are you prepping for? I'm prepping for a power outage or short-term invasion or civil unrest. There's a lot of threats about foreign entities being able to hack into our power supply, our power grid, which is very obsolete and really easy to hack into and disrupt. They've already supposedly been testing it out in certain areas and they've been able to hack into it and disrupt it. Also, there's threats of EMPs, which could also heavily disrupt our power supply. Without power, we're basically useless. Can't go to work, can't take money out of the bank, can't really do anything without power. We don't live in the 1800s anymore, 1700s. You know, this is 21st century here, and we need our electricity. Short-term invasion, maybe China gets pissed off at us for some reason and tries to invade. I honestly don't think that they would be able to overcome us on our own home soil, but who knows. But I think if that did happen, it wouldn't last long, but it would certainly shake us up for a little while. We'd have to rebuild and stuff like that. Or civil unrest, because if you watch the news, everything's completely screwed up and completely crazy. I think that near major cities, not really by where I live, but maybe it could happen. You could see mass riots and maybe martial law, stuff like that. I mean, it wouldn't last long, but it could happen and certainly disrupt some stuff. So, when you're going to be prepping, you got to have something that you're prepping for. You can't prep for everything. If you live in Tornado Alley or Hurricane Place, then you got to have stuff for that. You know, you got to have a basement if you live in Tornado Alley, or a tornado shelter and supplies. And if you live in hurricane areas, everyone in Florida has their hurricane cabinet where they have all their food stored up and water and stuff. So you just got to ask yourself, what am I prepping for? What do I need to get? What is my goal? You need to have a goal, or you're just running around in circles. You got to have a goal for yourself. Set a goal, get to that goal. Once you get to that goal, maybe set another goal. But you got to have goals that you can achieve, or you're just going to be running around with your eyes closed, crashing into the walls. Question number 2. How much food do you need? For my goals, for what I'm prepping for, I think 3 months of food would be good. That's not too extensive. I had that at one point. Pretty close to that. Didn't have exactly 3 months. What the heck? But that could include, you know, rations of rice and beans and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be all solid meals. You could have rations for the last couple weeks. Food starts running low, you could start eating other stuff. But I'm thinking 3 months. So that's my goal with food. Am I at that goal? Not really. Not anywhere near it, actually. When I first started prepping, probably 7 or 8 years ago, I did very rapidly get myself to that goal, and I maintained it for a long time. Lost my job, ate all the food. Whatever I didn't eat, mice got into it and ruined the rest of my food. They just really ransacked all my stuff, so you gotta watch out for mice if you're prepping. But ever since then, I got on the 72-hour kick, where I just had enough food to maintain a 72-hour bug out scenario. just get me to where I need to get, and then who knows what, like in my mind I was like, who knows what's going to happen after that. I can hunt squirrels, I can eat freaking wild plants. I don't know what I was thinking, but I had a 72-hour plan, so I just had a couple cans of Spam and a couple cans of chili and whatever. But now I've started stockpiling again, so I want to get up to 3 months again. So little by little, I buy a can of food every now and then, and I just store it. And once you get to that goal, you can either set a new goal, like, okay, I got to 3 months, let me see if I can get 6 months worth of food, or just maintain that 3-month goal. Rotate your food, eat it when it starts expiring. That's why we started filming the Cooking with Chef Scummy, because we want to show creative recipes that you can use your canned foods for. We've been slacking on the videos just because our schedules are... Mine and Scummy's schedules are basically backwards. When I'm home, he's at work. When I'm work, he's home. So it's really hard to get together and film videos. And we do have one day off that we share together, but we got other stuff to do on that day off. So it's really hard to film videos sometimes. But we are trying, and we do want to make a lot more Cooking with Chef Scummy videos. Probably shorter videos, less hectic, something that you can actually follow along to and cook in the kitchen by yourself, because we do have some really good recipes that you can make with a can of food and then a couple minimal ingredients. So, and if you have other recipes like that, you can share them on the Facebook page. We'd love to hear stuff like that, and maybe we'd even demo it on a video for you. That'd be pretty cool. But just make sure that once you get to your goal, you maintain your food supply, because another thing that happened was when I had my huge 3-month food supply, it was all basically canned foods and then rice and pasta and stuff like that. But I did have a lot of canned foods that I never ended up eating. It was like beans, like green beans and corn and weird stuff. And it got really close to the expiration date on like 20 or 30 cans of food, so I just donated it all to a food pantry. They did like a canned food drive at my work, and I just brought it all in and dumped it in there. So make sure you're maintaining your stock and rotating it, or you're going to get to a point where your whole 3 months supply of food is expired. And people can argue all day long if you can eat expired canned food or not. I'm not going to eat expired canned food. I don't care. If you want to do that, go ahead. Supposedly if it's canned correctly, it's not going to kill you. It's just going to taste nasty and look nasty, but it's not going to be diseased or anything. But I just don't want to do that. I'd rather rotate my stocks. That leads me to question number 3. Do you have enough water? The recommended amount of water is 1 gallon per person per day. So between me and my wife, I really don't have enough water. I probably have 18 days worth of drinking water, plus we have the well, and we have like 8 gallons of hygiene water stored up. It's just like some sink water, some water left over from water bottles, and we just pour it into gallon containers. That way we can flush toilets if the power's out and stuff like that. Probably wash stuff with it, mix with soap, whatever. It's not going to do anything bad. A 24 case of water is 3 gallons. And I have about 8 of those. And then I have about 12 gallons of water in my basement. And we have a well. The only thing with the well is it's electric, so if the power's out, it's not going to work. And I haven't figured out a plan for that yet. I could either hook it up to a generator, which I do not own. They're really expensive. I haven't found one yet. They're also noisy, and they use a lot of fuel. So that's something to think about. If the power's out and you're the only one in the neighborhood that has a generator running, everybody's going to hear that thing. They're all going to come over with their extension cords. Hey, can I plug my fridge in? Can I plug my flat screen in? That happened actually in my parents' neighborhood. There was a bad storm and the power was out and everyone's house is flooded. And my one neighbor had his generator out in the driveway running, and everyone brought their extension cords over so they could hook up their sump pumps and refrigerators and stuff. So just be prepared for that if you do have a generator. I'm thinking about they sell systems online where it's a long tube, and then it's a hand pump or something on top, so you can just take the cap off your well, put the tube down there, and you can pump water out of it. It's like a plastic tube with a plastic pump on top. So I'm thinking about getting one of those, just in case the electricity's out for an extended amount of time. We could still have drinking water from our well. I believe my neighbors have a pump. They have 2 wells. I think one is electric for their house, and I think in their barn they have a hand pump. So that would be another option. See if they'd let us get water. I don't know. I don't like being a mooch. I like taking care of my own stuff, so that'd be a last-ditch effort. So I am not at my goal of water, anywhere near it. I have 18 days. I would like to get to 3 months. You can also do rain collection, but if you do that, be very careful, because a lot of people I see, they hook up all their rain barrels to their gutters, and raccoons love to run around on your roof. They love to get into your attic, and raccoon poop actually has a toxin in it that can make you go blind, and even boiling that water with the toxin in it won't kill the toxin. So be very careful drinking rain barrel water, especially if it's collected from your roof. If there's any sign of raccoons on your roof or raccoon poop or anything like that, don't even drink it, because you could run the risk of having, I think it causes liver damage too. It's just really going to mess you up. So stay away from that. And that leads me to question number 4. Are you bugging in or bugging out? At this point, both. In the past, I lived in a townhome near the city, so obviously bug out. Then I moved into an apartment in the city, and obviously bug out, definitely, for sure. Surrounded by crazy freaking people. First sign of anything bad happening, I would have bugged out if I lived there. Now I've got myself on some property, not really in the middle of nowhere, but not in the middle of a major city or anything. Surrounded by cornfields, got a couple neighbors. So I would bug in as long as I possibly could here, and then if I had to, I could bug out. But my initial plan would be to bug in at first. I do have a bug out location. Make sure you have a bug out location, and make sure you have a means of getting there. Make sure you have a map, because who knows if GPS is going to work. You might turn on your phone and it's going to say no network, no signal, can't find GPS, and are you going to be able to get to your location? So make sure you have several maps. I've got a regular hardcover map. I also have a map that I myself sat on Google Maps, and I sat there and I went street by street and wrote down the directions. If I saw a bridge or anything like that, I made a workaround around it. So make sure that you get a map. I'm actually going to put a video about how I made my own map on Google Maps. Really easy to do. It just took some time, but it's a really helpful thing to have. So figure out if you're going to bug in or bug out. A lot of people ask, how do we know when we should bug out? I was on a forum and someone asked that question, and someone responded with when the trucks stop running. And I think that's a pretty good time to bug out. There's no more semi-trucks delivering anything to the stores. Then you know everything's pretty screwed up. So you might want to get out of there. Is your entire family prepared? That's question number 5. My answer is yes, sort of. Just recently I got my wife on board with it. She wasn't, at first she didn't even want to hear about it. She said, when I think of stuff like that, I get stressed out. So I don't even want to hear about it. I don't even want to think about it. And then I found out her family members, some of her family members are really, they're really into it too. And that kind of rubbed off on her. Seeing that some of her family members are doing it made me seem like not such a big weirdo. So that helped. Sorry, the ambulance was going by. So that helped, having her see them prepping, making me, because at first she thought I was like a weirdo or something. So she's sort of on board. She has her own bug out bag. When we go to Walmart, she'll ask, like, do we need to get any more canned food, stuff like that. So she's sort of on board, not so much. My dog has his own bug out bag, if you've seen the videos, so he's ready. You ready, Marley? He's sleeping. But not just your family. If you have a crew, is your crew ready? My crew's ready as soon as I'm ready. Just give them a signal, they'll all be here. We'll all contribute. We all have food and water and gear and all that stuff. Just recently found out that some of my wife's family members would like to join us if we bug out. So now I have to think about them, but they're kind of prepared too, so no big deal. But then there's those people, and I'm sure you've all met them. I don't like to tell a lot of people that I'm a prepper, but there are those people that will find out you are because they're good friends of yours, but they don't want to have nothing to do with it. Like if you saw my video about Keith's fire starters, then you know the cameraman, he actually said this at my house. He is not going to bring any food to my house. He's just going to come over because he doesn't need to eat food and he knows how to build electric motors and stuff like that. So he's going to put wind turbines on the top of my house and generators and batteries and car alternators and put all this junk all over the place so we can have electricity, but then he's just going to eat all my food. I don't think that's right. Everybody has to contribute. And then there's also those people that don't want to contribute anything. They just drink their beer and, hey, if anything bad ever happens, I'm just going to your house. Right, buddy? How are you going to deal with people like that? Are you going to let them in? They've been your friends forever. You kind of have to. Or are you going to slam the door in their face and tell them to get lost because they weren't prepared? So that's a big question. So yeah, that's my 5 answers to my 5 questions. Go ahead and do a video response. I want to see what your answers are. Answer them in the comments. Go on our Facebook and answer them. It just helps to have these 5 questions, and it will kind of put into perspective what you're doing. Are you ready? If not, how ready are you? How far away are you from your goal? Because stuff's really crazy out there, so it might be good to start getting to those goals a little faster. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. 5 questions that every prepper must ask themselves. Survival for the poor. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let's see some video responses. Thanks, guys.